This morning, a fight for freedom inside the justice system. A 5 on Your Side exclusive report on how the court systems have changed for the better over the past decade.
The St. Louis Archdiocese once again in hot water this morning. The new lawsuit they're facing this morning.
An overnight crash leaves one person dead as the driver speeds away. The steps St. Louis City is taking to protect pedestrians in a few hours from now.
Spotty showers linger through the course of the weekend that could impact those weekend plans. We'll break down who has the best chance of rain here in St. Louis and across our area lakes.
Recovering after historic flooding. How one city is preparing for the future to keep homes and businesses above water.
Let the games begin. The 2 Olympic sports you can catch before the opening ceremony.
This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, July 25th. I'm Michelle Lee.
And I'm Sydney Stallworth. Thanks for waking up with us at 6 a.m. As you head out the door, you might want to plan for showers later on in the day. Let's get on over to Anthony with our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, that's right. We've had these spotty showers around through the course of the week, but not everybody has seen the rain. And I think today you have a better chance of rain because a cold front's going to slide on in, keeping the clouds around, but also that humid air, it's still in place as well. We're at 82 by lunchtime today, 87 the high, and we did manage 92 yesterday. The spotty showers, those will move into St. Louis by the early afternoon and fizzle and fall apart this evening. But there they are, north of St. Louis. These could impact you first in places like Litchfield, over towards Girard, Ramsey, down towards Effingham and Flora. Nothing severe, but you see the bright colors that denotes that there is some heavy rain, even some lightning and thunder, and there's a little bit of river fog trying to form here in spots this morning, so watch out for that as you head out the door. The visibility, not terrible, but it is much lower away from St. Louis and Farmington, Perryville, out towards Mount Vernon and Salem, Illinois. Numbers today, again, not as hot, but still humid, 87 for the high, and spotty rain this afternoon. This trend actually continues through the weekend. We'll take a peek at that weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit. All right, well, this morning Paul Cook is off, and so let's get to our traffic, and I'll give you a quick report here. I don't find any issues when it comes to traveling this morning. I see all of our sensors are showing green. There's just been a couple of little spots where in St. Charles you have a road closed, Salt River Road at Highway C going north, and then there's a stall at 55 northbound just past the construction. But all in all, this is the hour when traffic starts to build, and you can see that's starting to happen, but you got lots of space there between the cars. 270 northbound at Big Bend. You're moving right along. We'll keep you posted as weather and traffic changes. For now, ladies, back to you.
Thanks so much, Anthony. For years, local municipal courts have been accused of putting people behind bars for traffic tickets and other minor infractions.
Our Mercedes McKay joins us live in Ferguson this morning with the 5 on Your Side exclusive. Mercedes, these changes have been years in the making.
Sydney, Michelle, that's exactly right. 5 on Your Side is the only station this morning with our hands on this report. This is an over 30-page white paper. It was released by Arch City Defenders. Basically what it does is it lays out the changes that have been made over the past decade within St. Louis County's municipal court system. All those changes, well, started right here in Ferguson following the death of Michael Brown in 2014. After the Justice Department investigated Brown's death, it accused the city of Ferguson of racially biased policing and using excessive fines and court fees, which led to sweeping court reforms. Around the same time, Arch City Defenders released a white paper, similar to the one we have our hands on this morning, outlining abuse within the municipal courts, calling them debtors' prisons. So the groups claimed municipalities across St. Louis County were putting people in jail because they couldn't pay for things like traffic tickets. And this wasn't just happening in Ferguson. Since 2015, Arch City Defenders filed 7 federal class action debtors prison lawsuits against Jennings, Ferguson, St. Anne, Normandy, Edmondson, Maplewood, and Florissant. Now, these numbers we're showing you on your screen now show the impact the sweeping reforms have made. Just look at them. Municipal court revenue in Ferguson declined by 95.2% from 2014 to 2023. In St. Anne, it dropped by 95.4%. And in Berkeley, it declined by 89.3%. I sat down with Arch City Defenders Executive Director Blake Strode ahead of the white paper release. He talked about their clients' strength as well as their heart-wrenching stories.
We've had clients that have missed, funerals of their parents, clients who have had kids sent out of state because they were sitting in jail, clients who families had to scrape together all the money they could find just to get them out of jail. I mean, really harrowing experiences. And somehow they found the strength not only to then take that system on, but then to stick with it over the years.
And they've been fighting this over so many years. These lawsuits actually take a while to completely go through. Now, Cindy and Michelle, you saw how revenue has dropped significantly. The same can be said about warrants and tickets issued across all these municipalities. But it's not just debtors' prisons that has been a problem inside our court system. Archdiocese Defenders has filed, listen to this, 52 lawsuits between the years of 2014 to 2024. Alleging unlawful practices in 20 municipalities, and that spans across 8 counties. And coming up in our next half hour, I'll break down where those lawsuits land this morning. Live in Ferguson, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Thank you so much for that exclusive report, Mercedes. This morning, one person is dead after a hit-and-run crash in South St. Louis. It happened around 10 p.m. last night near Belle Reve in Minnesota. Now, police do say the driver struck a pedestrian before fleeing the scene. And this deadly hit and run comes as St. Louis City is about to make more pedestrian-friendly roads. And about 12 hours from now, Mayor Tashara Jones will sign a bill to incorporate new safety regulations into all transportation projects to make them safer for pedestrians and for cyclists.
The time now is 6:06, and this morning the St. Louis Archdiocese is facing a lawsuit accusing it of covering up sex abuse for decades. Now, this suit is filed by more than 24 men and women. Travis Cummings is joining us live in the Central West End. And Travis, talk about these accusations because these allegations are very widespread.
Very expansive, Michelle. You're exactly right. We're live here at the Cathedral Basilica on Lindell, which, as you know, is really a pillar for the St. Louis Archdiocese. This morning, it is facing several abuse allegations in all across our area, really pretty expansive. Again, St. Louis, St. Charles, Webster Groves, that list goes on here. The lawsuit filed in St. Louis Circuit Court on Wednesday is pretty lengthy, 74 pages long, and our team has been combing through it for the past 8 hours. 25 men and women, all identified by their initials, are blaming the church for enabling and covering up child sex abuse by priests, nuns, and employees for decades. The defendants in the case include the St. Louis Archdiocese and Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky. The lawsuit accuses the Archdiocese of regularly transferring employees who commit abuse to different locations or sending them away for treatment for, quote, before returning them to unsupervised access to children. The allegations span all across the St. Louis region at 33 area churches, schools, and hospitals, including the ones you see on this list here. That's Immaculate Heart of Mary, St. Agnes, St. Pius V, and St. Gabriel the Archangel, all in St. Louis City. Also, St. Thomas the Apostle in Florissant, St. Joseph Hospital in St. Charles, St. Bernadette in Limay, and Immaculate Conception in Union. So once again, we are combing through this really here extensively. We have reached out to the Archdiocese of St. Louis to ask them more questions about these allegations and this lawsuit. We will update you when we hear back. We're live in the Central West End this morning. Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
Thank you so much, Travis. Right now, Christopher Dunn is still behind bars 3 days after a judge overturned his murder conviction. He was just minutes away from walking free when the Missouri Supreme Court sided with an appeal from the Attorney General to keep him in prison over the fact that the Circuit Court held the hearing, quote, with less than 1 hour's notice to the state. 34 years ago, Dunn was convicted of killing a 15-year-old in North St. Louis, something he says he never did. The Department of Corrections says the earliest Dunn could be released is Monday.
Brentwood's backup plan, how the city plans to avoid future flooding in the wake of 2022's historic rainfall.
And this morning, if you're headed out in the backyard, we are expecting dry weather to start. It heats up into the 80s later on and spotty thunderstorms around this afternoon. We are back to take a look at that and your weekend forecast.
And this just into our newsroom. Within the last hour, Southwest is breaking with tradition and will start assigning seats. We're taking a live look at Lambert Airport's Terminal 2, a hub for Southwest. The company claims that according to a survey, the airline's open seating was the #1 complaint passengers had. Southwest will not make the change until 2025.